Hello and welcome to the BNBN podcast. As always, I'm Ben.
Hello, you beautiful people. I'm Mike.
So, do you know what I've been thinking about the last week, Michael?
What have you been thinking, Ben?
I've been thinking about all the wasted villains in the MCU.
What do you mean?
So, when we think about villains like Red Skull, for example,
Yeah.
if you've only ever seen the MCU films, you might think Red Skull's just a nothing villain, a side villain. But in actual fact, he's Captain America's greatest villain, as you well know.
Yeah.
So I've just been thinking about villains like that. So we'll start with Red Skull.
Right.
Red Skull is one of the most important villains to Captain America. His feud with Steve is characterised by a combination of both hatred and respect, but these elements of their relationship are non-existent. That's largely because the villain was used as just a foe in Captain America, so just his origin story. After that, he just disappears from the MCU altogether. That's until Infinity War and Endgame, where Red Skull turns out to be the guardian of the Soul Stone. Whether or not the MCU will do anything else with Red Skull remains to be seen, but hopefully he'll return in a more prominent role.
That's what I always wanted to know about, like, Red Skull. Why is he for me of them?
Well, it's because... Well, he says he touched a Soul Stone. Obviously, he doesn't know what the Infinity Stones are, so I imagine it's the Space Stone he's talking about.
Yeah.
And at the end of Captain America, you do see him getting, like, sucked off.
Yeah.
Sucked off to where is it, Michael? What's the name?
For me, yeah.
There we go. So that is presumably how he got there. Now, in, I think it's Endgame, he says that he tried to wield the Soul Stone for himself, but he wasn't strong enough. That's why he now got it.
Right, okay. Now, another thing is, you know when Natasha and Clint go to Formia?
Yeah.
It's just, how would they not recognise that's Red Skull? But they must have the back story, backlog, everything like that.
Yeah. Well, Steve would have been the only one who saw him with his Red Skull, wouldn't he? Like, with his face sort of off. And there would have been no pictures or nothing, so unless he specifically told him, they might know about the actual guy.
Yeah.
But with his face like that, unless Steve actually turned around with, by the way, do you know that's not his real face? He's actually just a Red Skull.
Yeah.
So unless he actually like said that, like there wouldn't be any.
Yeah, that's true. I can't even think of what his name's called.
What the actor who plays him?
Ethan Smith.
Well done.
I mean,
you don't know his real name now.
That's his real name.
Ethan Smith.
That's what I know. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, same. So next up we have Ultron. One of the MCU's most evasive villains was Ultron. In the comics, the character's name is often mentioned in the same sentence as Kang the Conqueror or Thanos when it comes down to discussing the Avengers' biggest enemies. It doesn't come across that way in Age of Ultron, though.
No, it doesn't, does he? It's
No.
a bit wasted.
Well, he's just not scary enough.
No,
he's not scary enough.
He's more than a comic.
Do you know what? He's quite humorous, isn't he?
Yeah, that's
he's like. Do you know what? When I think about Ultron, he sounds like he's like. Do you know, like an old-fashioned, like, well, Mr. Bond type of villain?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Comes across as like that type of villain. It's possible that Phase 4 can give him another opportunity to shine. And do you know, I think it could possibly come about. If they're ever going to do it,
go on.
It's going to be through WandaVision.
Well, yeah, it's going to be through the. Now they could be making robots or making Ultron again.
Yeah.
That's my.
Well, that's what I was thinking. There's two ways he'll come about through WandaVision. As my esteemed colleague just said.
Thank you.
It could be through that. Or another one I was thinking was, well, Ultron is a brother's killer. And he could be subconsciously resurrected by Wanda's abilities.
Yeah.
But that's less likely than what Michael said. But
yeah.
they are the two ways he could possibly come back. If he doesn't come back through that, I don't think he'll come back through. He'll be like, Ultron, you missed your window, dickhead. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's going to be it. Like, he's going to come back through that or not at all. That's my prediction anyway.
Unless you watch Age of Ultron again.
I know, yeah.
He's back in
If you watch Age of Ultron again, he's back in it, yeah. So, next I've got Butterflipper. Now, a lot of people might not even get onto who he actually is.
No, I would know who he is because of you give me the backstory.
Yeah.
But other than that, I wouldn't have known who he was.
He comes across as a bit of a joke in some of the cartoons, but he's actually a master kickboxer. And he has quite an important presence in the Captain America comics. He was first introduced in the 1960s. And ever since then, he's tried to achieve his greatest goal of defeating Captain America. And even though he's never actually achieved it, he just keeps on trying. So, who is he actually portrayed by in The Winter Soldier?
Winter Soldier, he is actually a UFC fighter, George St. Pierre.
Exactly. So, that fight that Captain America had on the ship
Yeah.
was with a named Marvel villain, who's actually a relatively big villain.
Yeah, but on the actual film, you wouldn't think that, would you?
No,
You just
wouldn't.
think it's just a
You just
side,
think, if you don't know anything, you just think he's just some...
infantry.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Even
Now,
fighter.
I've got a bit of information for you.
Go on.
Do you know he's coming back in Falcon and the Winter Soldier as a main enemy?
No,
He's coming back as one of the
but
main
now
villains.
now that you say that, that does make sense.
Yeah. He's been seen on the set, and he's also been reported through leaks and stuff that he will be one of the main villains. So
that'll be good.
he might actually do
Yeah.
a lot for him. Now, as I say, in the comics, he is sort of a jokey character. He's like the way he is in the comics is like Ultron is in the film. So he sort of does a lot of jokes. He thinks he's better than everyone else.
Okay.
So he's sort of got an Ultron-y type of personality Ultron from the MCU films anyway.
Right, you know, in what's his name again?
Batroc.
Yeah. Does he have any powers, or like in Winter Soldier, is just a very
in Winter
great
Soldier,
martial
it's just
artist?
well, you see, Winter Soldier, there isn't many actual real powered people.
No, there isn't.
in
So he's
the
just
MCU.
so he's just a really high level martial artist.
Exactly,
Yeah.
like Hulk's through science, Thor, he's a god. Like Captain America's through science. There isn't actually any. But Batroc in the comics, he's actually called Batroc the Leaper, and he can actually jump really far and really high. That's his superpower. But I don't think that'll come across.
No.
It'll just be the kick side,
yeah.
kickboxing side of him.
Yeah.
So next I've got now I don't know how to pronounce his name. You can help me with this. Do you know the leader of the Dark Elves in Thor: The Dark World?
Malekith.
Malekith.
Yeah, I think in Thor: Dark World they call him Malekith or Malek. Yeah, but I know.
Yeah, I just can't pronounce his name, so I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. But you know who we're talking about. He's the leader of the Dark Elves, and he's an extremely powerful character, though he'll be remembered by many as one of the MCU's most underwhelming villains.
In the Dark World, I do think he's underrated, but I also think we didn't see enough of.
Yeah.
Who's the other one who was like indestructible?
Oh, his little
like,
mate.
Yeah, he puts like the stone or something.
Yeah, he sticks that stone thing in, and that's boss, that isn't it?
Yeah, he is really good.
Yeah, he is good, isn't he? Well, that's what I mean. The character didn't have enough depth, and that didn't leave him much of an impression on audiences. It's a shame because he's one of Thor's most powerful enemies, and he died in Thor: The Dark World. So I personally don't think he'll return.
No.
Like, I can't see him returning. Like, I know they like to bring the characters back, but there's always a reason for it. Like, after the snap, all the characters come back, but they weren't really dead. Do you know what I mean? After Tony, was it Hulk snapped them? It was Hulk snapped that brought them back. Yeah. So after that snap, they all came back, but that's not really coming back from the dead, is it? That's just like them coming back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's always Thanos can return. There's
Yeah,
always
exactly.
There's always that possibility.
That's what I mean,
yeah.
because he's been gone by the blade. Stupid name.
Snap.
As again, the only way I can see him coming back is being resurrected, but that's not got any. We won't be coming back anything through WandaVision because that's got nothing to do with it. Next up, Michael.
Go on.
I've got Crossbones. So who can you remember him? From the MCU? Can you remember?
Oh
him?
yeah.
Now what films was he in? Let's test your memory. Put you on the spot. Go on.
Let's see. Winter Soldier. Civil War.
I'm not going to finish that because we haven't got the budget for the countdown theme tune.
Yeah. And Endgame, I think.
No. He's Civil War and Winter Soldier. He dies at the start of Civil War.
Yeah, but he's in Endgame.
No.
Yeah, but you know where he goes, Hail Hydra. But he's only in that little elevator bit.
Hail Hydra.
He's only in that little bit.
So yeah, so he's one of the most notable threats to Captain America in the 90s and early 2000s. He's a ruthless killer. He was known for his brutality. In the MCU, he was an enemy to Cap in both Winter Soldier and Civil War, as we've just said. He was a good match for Falcon. Like, he would have been better for Falcon.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He would have been a better threat to Falcon. I don't think either film captured just how violent he can really be.
No, its best bit was in Civil War.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was just about to say, Michael. Just about to cover that. He fully went into Crossbones in Civil War. Like, he had the armour, he had everything, didn't he? The MCU didn't give him enough time before killing Moth to truly let us see how deadly he can be. In the comics, he's definitely more than just a side villain, but with his death in Civil War, I doubt we'll ever see his true potential. What do you think, Michael? Do you think he'll come back, or...?
If anything, he'll be back in... Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Yeah, he will. If he's going to cut, that's like the same as Ultron with the WandaVision. If Ultron doesn't come back in WandaVision, he's fucked it. He's missed his chance, dickhead.
Yeah.
But if Crossbones doesn't come back in Falcon with Soldier, he's fucked it as well. Knobhead.
Yeah.
So, with that out the way, what did you think, Michael? Do you think that's a solid little pick? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's better. I think that's better.
That can be our official first YouTube list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, wait, we can watch Mojo. Hey guys, 10 times. With that, let's move on to our favourite podcast at the moment, WandaVision. Not favourite podcast, our favourite topic on this podcast, WandaVision.
Yeah,
we're leaving that in, by the way.
At the minute, yeah. We won't cut that out, it's fine. Right, yeah, so with WandaVision, episode 5, we've got the little intro about...
Is Geraldine making an appearance in this?
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. See what I've got for you. Anyway, so you have the intro. Little 80s going on. Well, I think it's Fuller House and Growing Pains.
Wow! Knowledge on this guy? Is that what it's parodying them?
Yeah, that's what it's doing. So, the Fuller House is... Do you remember Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen?
Yeah.
They're obviously, you know, the sister, so that's where it's come through.
Yeah.
Vision has a baby, isn't that weird? And the little thingies, yeah. Anyway,
oh, so, yeah, Vision's a baby.
Yeah.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Right. Anyway, so I've got... So it starts with Wanda and Vision with the kids. They're screaming, they don't know what to do. Vision's come down, he says something I've been reading a book by Charles Darwin, so it nearly cries, you know, all that shite. And then, Wanda puts them in the cot, tries to make them sleep, does all the powers. Surprisingly, it's not working.
It's not working, is it? It doesn't work.
Do you know why it's not working?
Do you know what, Michael? Why is it not working?
The next factor. Right, the reason that it's not working is because they're their own kids. So obviously she doesn't have control over them like that. So they're talking, and Vision's clicking on to sort of stuff.
He's getting onto it now, isn't he?
Stuff are not right. So anyway, Agnes walks in.
Oh, Agnes. Here she goes again.
In a workout suit for some weird reason. I don't know. I just didn't workout suit.
She's wearing leg warmers, isn't she?
Yeah.
80s.
Of course.
And a sweatband.
Yeah.
80s.
And Jerry Curls. 80s.
Yeah. So Agnes walks in with a fucking Jerry Curls.
Yeah, just Jerry Curls. Anyway, she wants to take over the babies, and Vision's like, no, it's okay. And goes up to Wanda and says, do you want me to do that again? Thinking, because you know, it's meant to be a sitcom.
Yeah, she's like, so Agnes shows there, she sort of breaks it a little bit, and she's like, do you want me to take that line again?
Yeah.
So she's like...
And Vision's got that bizarre look at like...
Yeah, he doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, like he doesn't know.
What's Vision's actor's name again, just for everyone listening?
Paul... Bentani?
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 Yeah, the Paul Bentani. Paul Bentley.
Paul Bentley. It's not Bentley.
It's not Bentley.
B-E-T-T Annie.
Bentley.
Yeah, Paul Bentley. That's it, Bentley, yeah. Okay.
I wish we had somebody who studied film right now, because they would probably know the actor's name. The actor who played Chaucer in A Knight's Tale. He'd probably know that name. Yeah. Carry on.
Anyway, turn around and all of a sudden, there they are, 5 years old.
Yeah. Just shoot up.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah.
I knew because I saw watched the trailer.
So yeah, they're 5 years old. Yeah, so let's just skip from there. Now
like the kids do with their age.
Yeah. Now, they're in the kitchen, and again, Wanda and Vision are talking. They're talking about it again, like, you serious? Not going to tell me what's wrong.
Yeah.
And then she's just abiding by it, ignoring it, just saying, oh, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. And then they're making a dog, they're making something for a dog, aren't they? Because they found...
House.
Yeah, that's right, you know what I've just skipped. They found a dog, right?
And they made a dog kennel.
Right, they found a dog. Surprisingly, out of nowhere.
What's the dog's name?
Sparky, I think.
Nice. So, what do you think about what? So, let's talk about Sparky's fate.
Sparky's fate.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
Sparky's fate.
As in it dies.
Yeah, he's dead.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So. So, how it died, I don't know. I just see Agnes with the dog, covered in a blanket.
Yeah.
Apparently, the kids are looking for it. They find Agnes is holding it. It's dead. Did she say how it dies? With the
She did. Ate a
the
flower. Now, Michael,
flower, yeah.
I can see in your hand there you've got a tinfoil hat for me.
Tinfoil hat.
Yeah. Because, like you, I've also brought my tinfoil hat. That was me putting the tinfoil together to make
Yeah.
Right, so... right, so... I've got my hat on. And I forgot what I was going to say. Let me take my hat off again. Okay, right, so... In the comics, Vision has a dog. The dog's name is Sparky. It's a robot dog. Because Marvel. Right, so it's a robot dog. And the way it dies, somebody brings it back. Now, do you know what? It might be Agnes, but I'll get onto why I think it's Agnes who brings it back in the comic in a minute. Someone brings it back and said it died eating a flower. They break open the dog, and surely enough, in its cogs in the machine, there's a little petal or a flower. So they eat the flower. Don't ask me why. It's Marvel, and the flower that they eat, it's got a name, but again, I don't know. I'm not very prepared. I've done my research. Michael's actually supposed to do this research, but he's forgotten. So they eat the petal out the dog's dead belly. Again, it's Marvel. So, and it lets you relive the last few moments of the person's life.
Right. Okay.
The dog actually digs up the Grim Reaper's corpse and bites onto its scythe and dies from electrocution. The Grim Reaper's corpse is in Agnes's garden, where the flowers also grow.
Okay.
Leading towards what happens in the show. The dog died eating flowers.
Surprising.
It actually died. Now this is my theory of the week. It's a new segment round. It just started right now. Theory of the week. Week. So, the Grim Reaper is going to appear in Marvel because that's how the dog really died. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, his hat.
Okay.
His little hat, his helmet, shows up in a different episode. So, tell me why I'm wrong.
Oh, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just don't see that happening whatsoever.
So what do you see happening then?
I just think it's just a basic. Agnes is behind it with Wanda. Wanda doesn't really know how it starts, so Agnes is the real villain behind all what's going on. Maybe, little hints of Mephisto, all there and that, but you'll never actually see him.
No, not in WandaVision anyway.
Not in WandaVision, probably not in.
Do you know in every single video I've ever
time.
watched as well?
Yeah.
Whenever you say WandaVision, have the subtitles on, it's WandaVision.
I know.
I know.
That's
Yeah, I know. It's stupid, but it just makes me. Because it just makes me laugh. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Pointless observation, but
Yeah.
if you put the subtitles on in this video because of our accents, it says weird things. That don't put the subtitles on. Only put the subtitles on if you're deaf. Okay. We have this out in Braille for the blind as well. What that is, don't you? So we're going to move on to the big revelation now. And Michael knows what that is.
I've forgotten that, is it?
Do you know what you probably have?
No, I know what the big
So she opens the door.
She opens the door.
And who's there?
Gerald's here. Okay, so basically Vision and Wanda get in a fight because Vision's not buying anything what you're saying, so they're getting a little tussle. Both levitate in the air. Don't know why they do that. Pointless Marvel. Anyway, a door rings.
A door rings.
And
Hello, who's this?
Yeah, a door rings. Vision's like
A door rings.
a doorbell
goes.
yeah.
A doorbell rings.
A doorbell.
fucking door rings. She kept saying it. So the door rings. Yeah, so the door rings.
The door rings.
And who is it? Who's behind that door? Don't say Geraldine. It's not funny the second time.
Okay, I'm not going to say Geraldine. It's someone from a Fox
From a Fox.
From a Fox Marvel.
Oh, from a Fox Marvel, you foxy bastards.
Yes.
So, what is it? So, Fox. Not Fox, we know what Fox is. Who is it?
It's one.
You
It's
can't remember.
Wanda's brother.
What's his real name then, Michael?
What you? Is actors?
Not the actor. What's Quicksilver's real name?
Oh, like Pietro, something like that. Yeah.
You get that.
No,
Who's he played
okay.
by? He's not played by.
It's not played by ATG, but it's played by Adam Johnson. I'll call him. Evan Peters.
Yeah.
Great name, like not story though.
And do you know what? That was a big shock to me. Was it a big shock to you? I was expecting it.
No, I wasn't expecting it, but it's not giving me a.
Did not give you.
No, it didn't.
Like I literally sat there and when the door opened, went. Ooh.
It didn't give me that big,
Enthusiastic.
massive joy.
Did it not?
No.
Well, I thought it was quite good, but do you know why? But do you know one thing? I thought that ATJ, as you put it, was better in the role.
Oh
as
yeah,
Quicksilver.
yeah, definitely.
But as you pointed out to me a few days ago, Evan Peters is a better actor.
Yes, better actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that, Michael?
What's that now?
Someone's here. The door's ringing. So, joining us via Zoom today is do you know what? A man of many, many, many talents. A cartographer. An expertly acted extra, that's hard to say. And he's also got multiple degrees in film and media and stuff like that. He's also he's writes screenplays as well.
This guy
his
sounds
own
really,
time.
really interesting, doesn't he?
It's
He's
the
a-
man, the
sounds
myth.
really
You may have heard his
interesting,
name mentioned on the show before. Mr. Leo Hendricks.
Hello. That was a really prolonged clap. That
It was, wasn't it?
I think it's just a second too much. I think
Yeah.
just a second
So,
too much.
so Leo, you're a cartographer. I'd say amateur cartographer, no offence intended. But you are a cartographer.
What is a cartographer?
Do you know what a cartographer is? You are one.
Well, I don't know what that is.
Well, you make maps, don't you?
Do I make maps?
Yeah.
I do that now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. What type of maps do I make?
Maps of areas, your charted maps going in.
Okay.
Not like Christopher Columbus.
So
level.
it's not somebody who makes.
So they might go.
cards.
So a town planner might go to your area, colonise a new area.
So it's not someone who makes cards. At
No,
all.
no, that's a
Nothing to
cartologist.
do with that.
That's a
Whatsoever.
cartologist. That.
Okay.
So
That's interesting.
you're also an extra.
I've been an extra. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my main
That's your main.
employment.
So what's your goal in life?
That's a bit of a broad question. I think to become Prime Minister of. Why are you laughing? I haven't finished the sentence yet. You don't know what I'm going to say.
Okay, Prime Minister.
Prime
of what?
Minister of the United Kingdom. I don't know what laws I'd introduce. Maybe. I don't know.
What?
It's interesting actually because I was watching. I've got the TV on in my room. It's in the corner,
Yeah.
and
Watching things
I
backwards.
was watching. Yeah, I was. Yeah. Are you watching the same episode?
Yeah, the guy
and I was
one
watching-
day I was cooking a stew.
Well, I was watching Chris Kamara play Dance Dance Revolution,
Yeah.
and I thought this is the most absurd show I think I've ever seen at this particular
But it
time.
was good, wasn't it?
And well, here's the thing, because they were playing it on a
I know
laminated
what's going on
surface.
now.
They
The
were
fuck?
he was playing it on a laminated surface,
Yeah.
and this you know they play on this mat.
Yeah.
It was all over the place. There's a carpet though,
So what was
right
there? There was
next
a
to
what?
it.
There was what?
There's a carpet right
No,
next to
but
it,
what
but
did you say? The mat?
well, the Dance Dance Revolution mat
Oh, I
that they
think
have
you
on
said
the
map.
floor. Map?
But
No,
you've been a cartographer and all.
I'm not a
So,
cartographer. Never been one in my life.
so
I've never even I've never even looked at a map. I don't even know what a map is, other than a few streets and stuff like that. I'm confused.
I was confused. You
Anyway,
talking about Chris Kamara.
They were
That's
dancing
revolution.
on this. He was dancing on this little map. He was actually doing very, very well.
Yeah.
But they have a carpet like right next to it.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's confusing?
Yeah, it is because
will
you might
grip
get
the
confused
exactly.
between the mat. I'd do a dance on the carpet or do a dance on this quite obvious Dance Revolution dance mat.
Long story short, I'd get rid of all daytime TV if I was Prime Minister.
Well,
what
that's
would
a good
you what would you do?
Oh, well, you know what? That would require a lot of thought, preparation. Do you know what I'd do? I would ban billionaires. in the sense that as soon as you made $1 billion, let's give a bit away.
We're very authoritarian.
Yeah, of
we
course
just
are,
want
yeah.
to ban things, don't we?
Oh, well, do you know what? I'll be
What would you legalise?
What
What
would
would you-
legalise?
what would-
Sex in public.
Okay. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing to go to. That says nothing about your day-to-day life whatsoever.
Oh, fucking hell. So, Michael, same question to you.
What would I?
The Right Honourable Michael Leonard.
Yes. What would I ban? Or
Yeah.
what would I?
What would you introduce? What would you
What
ban?
song would you pick on Dance Dance Revolution if Steph invited you onto her
To a back
packed
lunch.
lunch show?
So, look,
It was so obvious that was the question.
so there's a 2-point question. Number one is, what song would you pick for Dance Dance Revolution on Steph's pack lunch?
I'll pick probably Word Up.
Word Up.
Yeah.
That was actually on it, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I'll have the gun version.
Would you?
Yeah. Sort of, but yeah.
So, something I'd bring in would be that you're required to have a pokey bum wank on every third Sunday of the month.
Who'd regulate that?
So
how would you know?
Go, excuse me, sir, can I sniff your finger? Oh, fucking hell.
Why the third? What was it?
The third
The
Sunday,
third
of every
Sunday
month.
of every month.
Because it's
Okay.
unrealistic to do it every Sunday. That was so bad.
Why the third though?
Just better than the fourth, isn't
Okay,
it? Oh,
that's a very good point.
Yeah.
just long enough for you not to miss it.
That is the day you do it though, isn't it?
Yeah,
on a
definitely.
on a
But
Sunday.
if you're going to have a pokey bum wank, you can have it on
You can't
Sunday.
do
aren't
it
you?
any other day, can you?
So, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm just having a pokey bum wank on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
Just doesn't work, does it?
You have to be a psychopath to do it on a Tuesday.
So, Leo,
Weekday.
Leo,
Was it Pokeball?
pokey bum wank. So, Leo, while we've got your ear, by Zoom.
Do you want an up to date like what's going on the Steph show?
No, I won't.
Is that what
I
you
think
want?
people could just watch the Steph show.
I think people want my perspective of what's
Is that
going on.
Anton de
This
Beek?
complete magic.
Was that Anton de Beek?
How can you say it? Are you-
Was Anton de Beek on it the other day?
was he on it? I don't know. It's gone to a break now. It's gone to
on a few after.
a break.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's come back. It's come back. She's back.
Okay, so Leo, the main question I want to ask you is,
I've never actually seen her have a packed lunch. Ever. You might think it's a small detail,
no, but she doesn't
But
actually have a
it's
packed lunch ever.
but it's the name of the show. You've named the show Steph's Packed Lunch, or was a packed lunch then? Was the evidence for a packed lunch? Just tell me that. And she's
But
got
do you know what?
Ace Your Case. I don't even watch this show, so I don't know what segment this is. It's Move Over, Judge Judy, Ace Your Case with Aisha. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I don't want my case being ace.
So this is
There's
this
been
is
no
just,
talk
So this
of
is just a review
my case
of
to anyone.
Steph's show.
Sorry.
Steph's packed lunch.
Well, this is just is this podcast not the review show for Steph's Packed Lunch?
So anyway, I want to talk a bit about your acting.
My acting.
Yeah.
Okay, go on then.
So,
It's more extras work. It's not really
well,
acting.
it is acting,
it's more.
isn't it? So
Can you please
somebody
stand
says
over
stand there,
there?
pretend to be somebody else.
Stand there with this coat on
So,
and
right,
walk over
so
there. I
let's
don't even
put a
do
bit of
that well.
context.
I don't even
You
do
were
that
in,
well.
You were in World on Fire, yeah?
World on Fire. Yeah.
And you played the Nazi
BBC.
in that.
The BBC kind of World
Did you
War
play a
One.
Nazi in that?
Did I play a Nazi?
You were in the Reich. You were in the Reich or something, weren't you?
I think I did. Yeah.
So,
I think it. Yeah.
so
In fact,
if
I
that's
did. Yeah.
not acting,
It was.
so if you ain't acting, does that imply that you're a Nazi?
that's a very good point.
So
You
were
could
you
certainly.
acting?
You could
Were you
certainly.
playing a part?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So you're acting. You're not paying. You count
It's
as an extra,
more
but you're still
of
acting.
technically called a performing artist.
So dress up and pretend.
It's halfway between acting and just just someone on the street walking past a camera by accident. So it's kind of a mix between those things.
If anybody watched World on Fire, you'd be quite confused because Leo played about 17 different people. A drunk man, a man in the background in England, a Nazi, and a man in the trenches for the Allied forces. So you'd be thinking that fella gets about. But
And
he is.
I've seen the whole thing as well. And I can't see myself in it.
Really?
Whatsoever. No, I haven't,
Oh,
I haven't
so-
seen myself.
Anything you did, anything in this prize, if you come up to the anything, so any bigger scenes with yourself will do a cutout, wouldn't he?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a shame. So I want to talk to you. You
Just
worked
one
on that
picture.
with Sean.
I'm just in like the corner of one frame, and someone notices me. It's
You
like
worked-
this
Did
is
you get to keep your
unusable.
glasses?
This is
Did you
unusable.
get to keep your glasses?
Keep my glasses.
Because Leo wears glasses. Did you get to keep your glasses
Keep
when you
them
went
on.
to Nazi?
Keep them on.
Yeah.
These glasses.
Yeah.
No.
So were you given different spectacles?
No, I just not wear.
Did you
I
wear?
just not wear
Did you wear
spectacles.
Benjamin
We
Franklin
need this person
bifocals?
to see. We need this person to see, but we can't have him have his own glasses.
So let's not give him
we'll
a
just
bayonet.
we'll literally just go all out, get his prescription,
Yeah.
get him another pair of glasses that'll suit the.
So let's.
Do you know how insane that would
did
be?
You,
They
did
don't
you
have
get
an
to wear your
infinite.
glasses or
They don't
not?
have an infinite budget now.
Did you?
No,
Didn't
just
get to wear
not.
glasses?
Just not.
Well, I was
one.
just going to say that's correct because I don't think anyone would be allowed to be a
They
high-ranking
would-
Nazi if they couldn't see properly.
They would have glasses, but they just give them like anyone. They wouldn't just give them to like people who would normally wear glasses.
Oh right, okay.
So you
So
but they
when
just
you were
wouldn't have
pretending
like
to
a
be
lens.
drunk in the background,
Yeah.
you genuinely couldn't see. So you were
Well,
stumbling anyway.
my eyesight isn't that bad. I was drunk. I was
were
I was
actually
generally
drunk?
drunk at the time, so it was very easy to act.
So working with Sean Bean as you did.
Mr.
Did he only give
I
you
call
a-
it-
he called- what do you call
I
it?
call him Mr. Bean because mainly because that's his name.
Now does Sean Bean like that or not?
Well, we're on speaking terms. He seems to be fine with it. I
Okay.
call him all the time because he's like, "Oh, you're that guy off. You're that guy off.
Some guy in the background.
You're that
Well,
guy
I
off
rode a
World on
bicycle.
You're that guy off World on Fire as well that I haven't seen."
So did he give you any pearls of wisdom into the acting world or?
He gave me a friendly nod as he was riding on a bicycle through a cobbled street.
Fuck off!
Is that
Have you ever met
is that-
anyone? Sean Bean smiled and nodded that he was rode a bicycle through a cobbled street in 1945, where wartime Britain. You sound like you're fucking insane. Take it out of
Funny you should
context.
say
That
that.
does sound crazy.
But well, that's the only interaction we shared.
Have you had any other interactions with anyone else?
Keira Knightley was in. She was in the defendant's box.
Yeah, was that the name of the film or was she just
She
in
was.
the film?
She was. It were both.
Leo Hendricks and Keira Knightley.
Both.
The
It was.
defendant's box.
It was called the defendant's box, and she was in the defendant's box.
Nice.
No, it was called Oh, what was it? It was like about the Iraq War. I can't remember what it's called.
Was it to do with Tony Blair's war crimes in the Iraq War?
Oh, we could. That's a whole other podcast. We could go into.
So, right, guys, it's been great you being here with us, but we are going to have to end it there. We'll be back again soon. Share, comment, like, subscribe, do all that stuff, and we'll speak to you very shortly.